All right. I check. Voila. Where are we? We're there. All right. Welcome, everyone. For those who are listening in future times, for those who are live with us, good night. Read. Here we go. This is a Betterment Broadcast. I'm your show host, Rap Raven. This is show 98. That's right, 98. 98 shows. All right. So let's get this show on the road. So after much research, I've unfortunately concluded that currently black people are collectively inadequate. It's very sad, unfortunate. We're very underdeveloped when it comes to team skills. But that's something we're going to see we can work on. We have to work on that. It's a global phenomenon that we're trying to fix. Right, so 4D values. What are the 4D values, I hear you say? Well, we're going to give out some links and people are going to jump in and talk if they like. And if they do, we want to see if they can try to be solution-based. And how we can be solution-based is by practicing discipline, dedication, dignity, and discernment. Whenever you interact with other black people trying to find solutions, use these 4 values, and I can guarantee it will be easier to find solutions than had you not done that. That's right. Oh, yes. That is right. Can using descriptive language instead of derogatory language help black people stay better on topic? Yeah, that's right. So if we can use strong language, colorless language, please, let's just try to, keep it very constructive, very descriptive when possible. Sometimes it gets hard when, people are trying to find solutions, but we can do that. That'll make it easier. All right, so what is Black Betterment? Black Betterment is black people helping black people on black issues for betterment. This entire broadcast is based upon this lifestyle, this basic idea, this way of life. Black people helping black people on black issues. Very important. If black people don't help black people, that doesn't classify as Black Betterment. And that's what this broadcast is about, trying to find inward solutions within the community. That's right. Oh, yeah, inward solutions. Now, we're going to play 1 or 2 videos. It doesn't belong to us. Copyright Act 1976. So, there you go. All right, I would say it now, but I'm going to say it one more time. If you could please follow the Black Betterment Building Instagram. We're building it up now. I should really spend more time trying to promote it, but I don't, so shame on me. But if you could follow it, tell your friend to be a friend of the actual channel. Is that channel? Page? Who knows? Yeah, if you could do that, we should be fantastic. Make it good. All right. So what is today's fantastic topic, I hear you say? Well, let's see. All right. What is racial showcasing? ? And what is the Black Poverty Line? And we also got a second topic. I guess that kind of 2 topics in one. Oh, yeah, we're going to... that's good. I forgot about that one. What is deceptive dopamine dialogue? And how is it used to confuse black people? This is a request from Brother Kel to implement this way of processing stuff. So let's do it. Let's expand it. Let's do it. Right. So where are we? So we're going to go for the 3 topics, in any order. But let's go through the alphabetical order. That's actually not alphabetical order, is it? What is racial showcasing? Yes. So, I can tell you, basically, a brother named Neely Judy Fuller. You should check him out. Very good brother from the States. I think he's in Washington. He's been gone for quite a long time. He's released a book of a way to try to navigate through systematic racism and understanding, recognizing when it's being practiced. And one of the ways is something called racial showcasing. So what I'll do is I'll get him to explain that because it's probably better coming from him. So let's find that thing right now. Where are you? We've got 2 here. Let's try this one first and then the other one. Or maybe that one first. Rewind.
With the non-white people of the world, they're doing a lot of racial showcasing. This is something that's just started happening in the last 10 years or so. Meaning what? Taking huge numbers of black people and putting them up front. Everywhere in the world. Everywhere you go now, you see black people. You see black people in places, when in my existence on this planet, I thought I'd never see them. Okay? But you see black people in everything, everywhere. And they're being showcased. That's a term I came up with. On television, in all of the areas of activity. Economics, they will trot out a whole bunch of black people. From Nigeria, everywhere. All right? Education, they'll show you a whole bunch of black people in the educational field. Entertainment, explosion. And it's going to be more of it. You're going to have more black entertainers than you ever had. I mean, and when I was coming up, they just had Joe Louis and Lena Horne. That's all they needed. Every black person who was hurting out there in the cotton fields and all like that say, well, at least we got Joe Louis. At least we got Lena Horne. All right, in the 40s, I mean, it was Jackie Robinson, Larry Doby, etc. All in the sports and entertainment field. Now they know they can't get by that cheap. It's just like any other business. Sometimes you can get by cheap. Sometimes you got to put up more to keep this thing going. So it's all a matter of trying to deceive. So they're doing a whole bunch of showcasing, and you're going to actually have, I would say, anywhere from 3 to 4 million black people who are rolling in money worldwide. But percentage-wise, a little boy in a village in Haiti is going to be eating a rat like they're doing right now in order to survive.
Write that down. All right, thank you very much. So, that's Brother Neely Jr. Fuller, his book, The United Independent Compensatory Code System Concept. Most people struggle to remember that. Very good book if you get a hold of it. Buy it from a black vendor if you can. I don't think it's on Amazon yet. I had to get it from Washington. Yeah. So, what does that mean? Well, so I break it down. Like I said, you're going to see, you're always going to see black people in certain places. I guess some people use the term tokenism, but I guess it's intertwined maybe. But, you're going to see rich and famous black people on the news, in politics, as time goes by. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the masses of black people are doing well. And Neil Fuller calls this technique racial showcasing. Funny enough, some people also misconstrue, not really, they try to intertwine it with when black people get in relationships with non-black people, and they kind of like show off. They kind of like show off, like, oh, I have a wife of a different ethnic group, or vice versa, or whatever. And sometimes they say this is another form of racial showcasing. More people use it for that term. And sometimes it gets very extreme, enough. Sometimes it gets very, very extreme. And there was greetings, everyone. There was a video that's circulating. I'm not too sure where this individual is from, but we do know her husband's from Nigeria. So this is maybe like a form of, this is like indirect form of racial showcasing in some degree. It's kind of.
A boyfriend. All right, guys. So I know a lot of you guys have been asking about a boyfriend haul, and here is.
How much a boyfriend or your husband?
Boyfriend haul. So I got him so long ago. I got him like about 16 years ago, but I had to return him one time. A long time ago, but I returned him and he came back better than ever. I like to go for like a chocolate on chocolate, so black on black. I love like purebred. This is a purebred.
I'm confused on what are we doing.
We're giving them a haul. So this is purebred Nigerian from the motherland. I don't like to crossbreed. We got the full Nigerian here. What else? One really good thing about this one is it cooks, it cleans. Actually, no, it doesn't cook. I take that back. That's next season's, but not this season's one. We're working on it.
I do everything else.
Okay, does that be muted? Let me mute that. Cool. Yeah, so we see there. You see that before in the internet world, especially on TikTok and these kind of things where non-black partners, get in a relationship with a black person, and then they for the comedy or just mistreatment, or it might be, They kind of go back to like the slave auction kind of days. I think if we were to look at when I did performing arts, we had to like study people's eyes and stuff just to help develop character. And if you just focus on this gentleman's eyes right at this part, you realize he kind of looks very lost.
Better than ever. I like to go for like a chocolate on chocolate, so black on black.
Study the eyes, study the eyes.
I love like purebred.
You could almost see hopelessness.
This is a purebred.
I'm confused on what we're doing.
We're giving them a haul. So this is purebred Nigerian from the motherland. I don't like to crossbreed. We got the full Nigerian here. What else? One really good thing about...
So, low self-respect, low self-esteem. You might find many brothers and sisters engaging in relationships where this happened and they're not really aware of the history and the significance. So some people indirectly call this a form of racial showcasing as well, a different form of it, not necessarily show. Maybe some people using the case that because you see relationships and this kind of stuff, that means everything's all good. Everything's going good. Black people are marrying non-black people, so everything's fine. And because everything's fine, you can now make these kind of jokes, statements. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, those kind of ones. Hold on. Let me show. Oh, there. Excellent. Yeah. So there you go. So where were we? We can listen to one more thing from Neely Fuller on the concept of racial showcasing. Similar concept.
Book is on page 28, 29, etc. But it starts on page 28 of the basic compensatory counter-racist code book, 2016 edition, which is the latest edition. And showcasing, are you talking about the recent royal wedding?
Yes.
Okay, that's the case of it, according to the code. They say that the lady is part black, or biracial, which according to counter-racist science, there's no such thing as biracial. You're either a member of a race or you're not. There's no such thing as two races. I mean, you're either a racist or you're not. The only purpose for being a member of any race is to practice racism. And the only reason for practicing racism is to mistreat somebody based on color. It absolutely serves no other purpose. You can be a member of a tribe, you can be a member of a fraternity, you can be a member of a nation or a sorority or a committee. But if you're a member of a race, that's an invention of the white supremacists, presumably. They're the usual suspects. And the only purpose for being a member of a race is to practice racism. So what is racism? It's mistreating people based on color. That's all it's good for. Not good for nothing else. I mean, why join a race unless you can explain why you're joining a race or inventing a race? I'm going to invent a new race of people. In order to do what? Why can't you just do whatever you're going to do that needs doing? If you need to produce a product, just go ahead and produce the product. Why are you inventing a race of people in order to do what? That's the question. So this racial showcasing is something that the white supremacists do. And what does that mean? It means they take a few non-white people that they have classified as non-white, and they sprinkle them out among the populations of the world. And they give that few, sometimes it's money, billions of dollars, and or they will give them some type of fancy title. And then they will showcase, say out of a population, say of 40 million black people, for instance, they will take maybe 5,000 people. I mean, if you just line them up, that's quite a few people, all right? And dump $1 billion on each one of them. 5,000 black people, and each one of them gets $1 billion. Now, if you put that in a magazine and put all their pictures in there and whatnot, that'll be a pretty thick magazine. If you just turn the pages of all of these billionaires, each one of them has $30 billion, all right? 5,000. You say, oh, that's black progress. Look, 5,000 black people, each one of them have $30 billion. Man, we have overcome. There are no more problems. See, you're not counting all of the millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of black people out here who don't have a biscuit to eat. All right? So that's what showcasing is all about. It's about putting up a few, just a handful out of an entire world population of people who are classified of color. And they parade them around all over the internet, all over the photographic world, all over the viewing world, just parade them. Just takes a handful. Sometimes it's just a dozen or two. And you parade them everywhere. Put them on every newscast and whatnot. And then you turn to the world audience and say, see, there's no racism. Look at these dark-skinned people and look at their royal positions. All right? Give you a royal title. And say, see, no racism. Racism is gone. I mean, in fact, at a certain point, we're going to say it never did exist. So what are you people complaining about? We don't want to hear any complaints. Look, we have a whole royal family that's got people of color in it. Wow! Isn't that grand? Now all of your problems are solved instantly. All of you people who are digging in the dirt in the Congo, I mean, in those mines and whatnot.
All right, so that was Brother Neely Jr. Fuller. Neely Fuller Jr. Neely Fuller Jr., sorry. Remix name. Yeah, so Google him, check him out. Says some good stuff. Interesting ideas. Interesting, very informative. Right, so just go back to click as well. Yeah, it is. So what is racial showcasing? So we broke down there what it was. We showed that certain black people we put ahead in the media, maybe in certain families, maybe certain work, whatever it might be, and this might give the illusion of inclusion or some kind of progress report or whatever. But generally, it's business as usual for every other black person. So just be very mindful. Okay, so now we're going to move on. That was quick, very quick. Snap. Going to move on to what is the black poverty line. So let's break it down. For those who don't know, the black poverty, the poverty line in general, right? Let's see if we get this right. Is if people living below a poverty line don't have enough money to meet their basic food, clothing, and shelter needs. So if you're living day to day, and the money you make, if you make any at all, doesn't actually allow you to have your basic food, clothing, and shelter, then this means you're living below the poverty line. All right. So you're living below the poverty line, and there's usually like amount that in different countries have different lines, like depending on how much food costs and how much the average person makes. Yeah, that's what we're doing. So the poverty line, lines of national richer countries have high. Yep, I've said that already. Excellent. So yeah, cool. Very simple, really. Not too hard. So we're going to look at some information, see if there's anything we can. I think it's on the screen now, right? Am I wrong? Oh, I am. Yeah, voila. So I just took some stuff off the internet. You can just Google some of the stuff, you'll find it. I left the quotes there and all that. Good stuff. So where are we? Papa said, please ignore that. That doesn't make any sense. The directors that's left him from saying us. More than half of UK's black children are growing up in poverty. There shows. Okay, so this is 2022, not too far, January. All right, not too long ago. More than half the black children in the UK are growing up in poverty. Analysis of official government data by the Labour Party has revealed. The research is based on government figures for households that have relatively low income. All right, relatively low income. Defined as being below 60% of median. That standard definition of poverty. All right, so there you go. Apparently, standard definition. It found black children are now more than twice likely to be growing up poor as white children. Over the last decade, the total number of black children in poor households more than doubled, although this increase is partly down to overall population also increasing. All right, it's page one. Page one. So what's that saying? It's saying that unfortunately more than half of the UK's black children are growing up in poverty. Data shows. That's not good. If that's the case, then it looks like we need to practice black betterment for the children, because that can't be good. All right, what's this next one? Nearly half of, for those who don't know what BAM is, I believe it's black and so a black Asian minority. I don't know. You know what? Black Asian minority. Everyone is. I don't know. If someone knows right now, I completely forgot. I ain't gonna Google it now. Something like that. But it's got blacks and Asians in it, and maybe Arabs as well. Who knows? Right, nearly half of the BAME. BAM. UK households are living in poverty. All right, and what we've got here, almost half people living in a family in the UK where the head of the household is black or in poverty. So let's break that down. Almost half of the people living in a family in the UK where the head of the household is black are in poverty. Now, I assume they said when the head of the household is black. Is that because many black men are not necessarily in black families as they don't pick black wives, maybe? Is that why they had to label it that way? Almost half of the people living in a family in the UK where the head of the household is black are in poverty. Interesting. That is an interesting way to put it. Yeah, the commission said that BAM households are more likely to be in deep poverty than white families. Around 1 in 10 adults from a black, British, Pakistani, Bangladesh, or a mixed background were unemployed, compared to 1 in 25 white British people. And so we're more likely to suffer heightened financial exposure to the pandemic. So this is 2 years ago, it looks like. Within the 2 years old. There we go. It found that 9% of people in families were the head of the household was white, lived in poverty. And 2018-19, this compared to 32% of mixed ethnicity families, 91 Asian British families, 92% of families classified and other. Does that make sense? And other ethnic, and 46% of black, African, Caribbean, and black British. Okay, cool. So what that breaks down there, this is to really just go to the core of it. Almost half of people living in a family in the UK where the head of the household is black are in poverty. It'd be good if we had someone who specializes in this to come on and talk about this. It's quite interesting. That's quite a high number, half. Quite high. Unless it's like things like maybe like obviously if people are not married or something. I don't know. That's quite a high number. Oh dear. All right, what's this? What's this one? Next page. Black households face being hit harder by cost of living crisis as most have less than 1,500 savings. So we can do keep to yourself, of course. Do you have people who are listening now and in the future times in the UK? Do you have less than 1,500 savings? Let's see. That would be interesting. Let's read it. Black households face disproportionately impacted by the cost of living crisis. According to analysis which shows nearly 4 in 5 have less than 1,500 in savings. Nearly 4 in 5. That's quite high. So 4 in 5, nearly. So maybe 3.5, 3.8. All right. More than 500,000 black adults have no savings at all to fall back on, according to figures compiled by the Labour Party, which attack the government's failure to tackle deep-seated structural inequalities. Families in England face having their household budget slashed by 1,200 amid soaring energy bills and tax hikes. I guess that's what it is. So we're saying that people don't have 1,500, yet the bills are going to raise by 1,200. That's going to be quite challenging for black people. The analysis published back by to mark Race Equality Week. There's such thing as Race Equality Week. Okay, we should Google that one, see what that's about. Show that more than 1.2 million, that's 78%, adults from households headed by someone from black, African, and there we have that same word again, that kind of households headed by someone from a black, African, Caribbean, or black British background. That must the reason they must put it that way, because it must be if a man's becoming the breadwinner of a family, but black people are not necessarily with black women, then I guess that's why you have to put it that way rather than saying black families. I could be wrong. It's a bit of Columbo there. Black British backgrounds reported living less than 1,500 in savings and investments compared to the national average of 48%. All right. Now, that's been cut since 24, but I assume it says 24% of black households said that they had no savings compared to an average of 15% across all ethnic groups in the UK. Is that the last one? Did I have 3 or 4? Oh, I have one more. One more to go. That's nice. There we go. So poverty rates by ethnicities. Looking at here. So on this one, where are we? Black, Caribbean, African, Black, British seems to be ahead of Bangladeshi and Pakistani, but obviously behind everyone else. Oh no! It's actually not ahead. It's behind. Yeah, wait a minute. Am I reading this wrong? Let me read this up. Poverty rates for the Black, African, Caribbean, Black, British ethnic group have largely stayed just over 40% for the last 25 years. So there has been no decrease or increase, apparently. The decrease in poverty rate for people from Bangladesh and Pakistan communities is due to a rise in employment. Let's read that again. The decrease, that means, let me read that again. Poverty rates for Black, African, Caribbean, Black, British ethnic group have largely stayed just over 40% for the last 25%. So it's been the same. While obviously for Bangladesh and Pakistan, it's decreasing, right? And this is due to a rise in employment, in particular for women of those ethnic groups. All right, so now the women are working. These work will be enable many families to increase their household income above the poverty line. However, the highest in the work poverty rate are still found from people from Bangladesh and Pakistan backgrounds, more than 3 times the rate than found for white people. In work poverty rates are also higher for people from other Asian, Black, African, Caribbean, Black. They're gonna have a lot. Let's say Black people of other ethnic groups. Pay has also contributed to high poverty rates for the majority of ethnic groups in the UK, with many workers from minority ethnic backgrounds having lower wages than white workers. This is particularly the case for workers who are women. So black women probably not doing too good there. I think that's it. Oh, this picture is excellent. Right, so we're gonna have a go attitude there. So we've sped through what is racial showcasing and what is the black poverty line. How black people doing? What I'm gonna do, family. You know what? Let me put that in the lobby. Lobby paste. Give me 17 seconds to go. All right, put that in there. Yeah, and I think, can I do it from here or can I not? Say I can. No, I can't. It's very, very terrible. Let me find it here. Where are you? There it is. All right, guys, what I'm doing, guys, is where is it? Why can't I find it? There we go. There we go, found it. All right, family, so, what is going on here? Aha, there we go. So I'm going to pin message. Okay, there you go. I have to have 2 windows open to do this, old school. So yeah, if people jump in now, what we're going to do, we're also going to talk about now what is deceptive dopamine dialogue and what is a deceptive dopamine dialogue and how is it used to confuse black people. All right, so I guess, when you hear, I think Brother Kel jumps from time to time and he talks about dopamine and it's something he really wants to push. So we're going to push it here as part of codified behavior. And we're going to say, unfortunately, that when we're talking, trying to help black people, you might find that non-black people who are overhearing it or passing by or on the digital space, what tends to happen is they might say 1 or 2 things that is quite disparaging as it pertains to black betterment, but it might sound or feel good to the listener of the black person, but the overall outcome is to not do anything of a black betterment nature. And I guess this kind of deceptive dialogue, or the deceptive dopamine dialogue, is something we want to be very aware of, where 2 black people are speaking and then a non-black person jumps in and they say something, and the outcome is the doing nothing towards betterment for black people is the better option than actually trying to unify and find solutions. And this is something that we need to watch. Also, unfortunately, many black people have been conditioned to really love the opinions of non-black people and just any kind of compliments. For example, I guess For example, I mean, if we just look at this here now, let's have a look at
This one. All right, guys. So
the way you've got to see this is this kind of slave auction kind of stuff here that we see from this video. There's no real alarm bells ringing in this gentleman's mind. So you would assume that his dopamine is actually like the fact that he's around a woman he probably sees as very, very, very delightful. Maybe he thought it was out of his league or something like this. Who knows? And so now that everything she's saying is just probably just making him feel good, even though if you actually break it down, it's actually not that cool. Let's listen to one more time.
I know a lot of you guys have been asking about a boyfriend haul, and here is
I'm not your boyfriend, I'm your husband.
boyfriend haul.
So he started saying, "I'm not your boyfriend, I'm your husband." So yeah, I mean, I haven't seen any other videos past this point, but what we're noticing is his dopamine must be really like always in a happy place where this goes on, and he doesn't really recognize that it isn't in his best interest to go on camera. And what's interesting is where there's certain things like he's got no clothes on. There's something that we haven't really tackled. He's actually married to the woman, and I don't know. It's some kind of role play, some kind of racial showcasing going on.
So I got him so long ago. I got him like about 16 years ago, but I had to return him one time. It was a long time ago, but I returned him and he came back better than ever. I like to.
I think she's like maybe she's treating her husband like a product or something. Maybe
go for like a chocolate on.
Now maybe you could argue she's doing the whole like it's a product thing, maybe role play, whatever. But when you start talking about chocolate and breeding and this kind of stuff, then you're kind of going down ancient paths.
Chocolate, so black on black. I love like purebred. This is a purebred.
I'm confused on what are we doing.
Look his eyes there. He's he might be ever so slightly uncomfortable now.
We're giving them a haul. So this is purebred Nigerian from the motherland. I don't like to crossbreed.
Right. So yeah. So once again, this is the thing we want to be very wary of, like where black people are around non-black people and things are being said, and we're not really aware that what's being said is in our best interest. And I think, to segue it back into racial showcasing, like when you see people being famous and on TV and people, maybe marrying into the royal family or whatever, might give you a delusion that black people are doing okay. But we've just checked, at least within the UK. And what I don't have, I wanted to show data on Africa as well, because Africa's GDP and also the poverty line is very high in the world. I didn't actually extract that. 1,000 figures for not doing that. But yeah, so we see a consistency there. And all I'm saying is for black people to struggle to talk to other black people about the necessity of why to find solutions, we need to come together for a solution for this problem of how we increase awareness, how we show that there is much work to do, especially where are we? If what they're saying, at least within the UK, that more than half the UK's black children are growing up in poverty. Not good. Where are we? Black household face being hit harder by cost of living crisis. We don't have savings. So obviously, as you may know, in England, they're raising the cost of electricity. I think it started already. It has. I think it started in April. So could be wrong. And where electricity is just going up by, for the average household, 1,200, which is quite a lot. That is quite a lot. I don't know if someone's bill would have been 1,200 before. Now it's been raised by that. So yeah, problematic. So yeah, this is the thing, and I think if ever there was a time for black people to come together to find solutions and to build economic growth and this kind of stuff, it will be now. But we're here because we're trying to make people aware that you might be disparaged even by other black people, and they're gonna try to, as Brother Kel would say, trigger your dopamines and make you feel good, even though the information is not that good at all. So please be wary. Please be wary. Please be wary. Now, I think, have I done it? Let me just check. Now, family, I've put a link in the got so many windows open. It's mad. It's absolutely mad. Sorry, guys. I've been working on some projects. I've got things to scan up. But where are we? What other probably line? Blah 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 blah. Yes, it is at top. So if you wish to join family, by all means, like I said, we're past half an hour now. We normally go for 1 hour, just me giving a quick, synopsis and case study. And then after that, people jump in, gives another hour to discuss anything along this thing. Feel free to jump in. But if not, we shall end. I do have a project afterwards. I do have to jump on, so I'm not trying to rush it. Shame on me. But we definitely will take the time for the family. If there's anything else, any questions, feel free, by the way. Anything to do with racial showcasing, that be like, also, what country are you from? How's it there? Unfortunately, the diaspora, whether you're in Canada, America, or anywhere else, to be honest, France, whatever, you're going to find that a very similar pattern that it takes place. That's why there is a need for global betterment, networking on those levels, looking out for each other's best interest while we deal with this problem. Very big problem. And as we're doing that, we have to be wary that people will try to it down. Also, there's many people who are black as well who will actually, which is very interesting when you view this. Like, and it's something that I want you guys to be aware as well. If you see it, you might see it on the internet, you might go out yourself, where you start a conversation by recognizing the problem. Like, maybe let's say this problem is black poverty, whatever it is, right? And then you push for the solution, and then there's almost distrust or anger or moving away from the conversation or even just like confrontation. And this is something that you have to be very aware of. Like, unfortunately, there are some black people who look at other black people as threats, and without them knowing that it's triggered when they talk. If you watch me in Speaker's Corner, you might see it a few times at a time, where it's why you where usually when you try to talk to people about coming together to find solutions, whatever, they get in this kind of like Jesus complex, where like, why are you the savior, that kind of stuff. And this comes from generally a self-hate that some people do display when other black people get on the scene. It also comes from genuine distrust for charlatans who've tried to do things before and run off with money or mistreat people, whatever. So there is history there, but we kind of need a solution for that. We kind of need to come together and work out. Now, one thing I do when I'm talking in public as well, and I'm very clear about this, is I try to establish that I break it down this way. I think I've got a grid here as well. Where's that grid? Quite helpful. Oh, very helpful. So I was talking about the 3 A's of change and why this is important. For those who don't know, I say it all the time, but I'll say it one more time. The 3 A's of change are aim, action, and assimilation, right? And what that means as it pertains to black betterment is a small percent, let's say 5%, phase one, and the brothers and sisters are going to come up with the ideas. So they're going to come up with lifestyles, ways of operating, codified behavior, institutions, this kind of stuff. That'll be 5%. They're going to do the best. They're going to establish the aim. So they want black people to improve in these areas. So they've established the aim, and here's our aim. Here's what we're going to go for. And then there's a need for 30% of the population to then try to practice that, right? So that's where when you talk to people, and sometimes they're disparaging, or they don't trust you, or they want to sabotage progress, or they just think you're automatically an enemy. Well, the best way, because I always try to say minimize using derogatory terms or combat or whatever. Just let them know that there's a place for them in phase 3. And what that means by is there's a thing of critical mass that if you can get like around about, I think it's 20 to 30% of people doing something, generally the world changes to this kind of normative way of thinking and doing stuff. So if we can get 30% of people to practice black betterment, practice, actual things like black-centered, black representation, black business, black love, being constructive. If you're in the media or the social media, posting, uplifting, progression of black stuff, promote businesses, promote black love, promote ideas, promote anything that's black-centered, right? and black homes, right? So this is something that we want to push. If we get 30% of people doing that and make it a norm, then what will happen is the rest will happen by assimilation. They'll just see it as a normal thing to do, because it isn't normal for black people to undermine black progress, but someone has made that very normal. So someone else has done that change in black people. So we need that kind of group, and that's why I use the term elite group. Very important word. The reason why it's a very important word is because when you talk to black people, you're trying to trigger things in their mind, because automatically, many black people, when you approach them, will see you as a threat, unfortunately, if they're not synchronized with any form of black betterment. They'll think that what you're doing is radical or just wrong, because they, once again, because of racial showcasing, they see black people in high spots of power, so there needs be no any work to be done. But as you can see by the reports we read, that half the people, apparently children in Britain, are going for poverty, and 4 out of 5 don't have any savings. It's not very good generally. So the reason why I talk about trying to find the elite, the new black elite, is establishing what does that elite look like. Once again, we're talking about dopamines in people's head. Sometimes we want to release the dopamines by using these terms. We also want to cause a competitive and necessary anxiety, in the sense of we're saying that there is a bar we want you to raise to, and those bar there's 2 things that's required. 1, dedication to black people, love for black people, and 2, skills, developing skills. It's very important that you learn skills, whatever it might be, skills that are beneficial to black people. If you're practicing, the first one is in dedication to unify and black love and that kind of stuff, naturally, everything that is said will make sense. You won't be dragging your feet and trying to segue everything somewhere else. There you go. So this is the way I would recommend talking, like letting people know that when you're talking and people don't necessarily agree, you are looking for the black elite, and that literally is the willingness to want black people to improve, and the time taken to do that, and learn particular skills that is in black people's best interest. Very important. Very important. Very important indeed. So yeah, that is the 3 A's of change. And that is connected to what we were talking about earlier. Blah blah blah. Let's see what else we got in here that we could read out before we end, because it's got about 5 or 10 minutes left. If no one jumps in, we're going to end in 5 minutes. We've done a very quick snappy. I'm engineering some audio at the moment, and it just takes so long to master stuff. It just takes forever. So I might do that before I go to bed. But nevertheless, black people come first. So if people want to jump on, we shall talk. We shall do that. Let me see. There's anything else that we need to go over? Remember, family. Oh, we got Brother Kel. Let's extend that. Welcome, Brother Kel.
Welcome, brother. Big up, brother Raven. Black Betterment. Always beneficial on the Friday and all day. Big up, brother.
Thank you, family. Thank you for your hard work. So we've gone through 3 things. What is racial showcasing? And what is the black poverty line? And obviously, as you've been talking about dopamine, we've implemented this concept as what is a deceptive dopamine dialogue. And we're talking about when black people talking, non-black people might try to jump in and make them feel a certain way, feel happy about not doing anything that's in their best interest. Have you observed that this happening before, Brother Kel?
Yeah, brother, we all do, man. It's the dopamine, marketing dopamine for our youth is very important, man. I mean, different African freedom fighters, they've used different words and methods to help us stay on code. And the dopamine, especially the era that we're in, and the youth are definitely involving themselves in a lot of science and technology and etc. And it's a great way to market. And dopamine definitely is something where we have to control, understand, and how it affects us in our daily life with our plight as African descendants.
Very good. Yeah. It's something that we have to have a good feeling when it comes to helping black people. This is one thing I was trying to tell many of the brothers and sisters, especially when I'm out talking publicly, because obviously helping black people, some people perceive it as a chore, and they ask, because a lot of people think maybe I'm scamming when I'm out there. Well, I say a lot, but it's usually the same old people to me, historically, and 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 we can unpack, why people think that those particular people. But what's interesting is they'll say things like, why we listen to you? How do I know that you're not some kind of like, charlatan, blah blah blah. It's welcome, bro, IC3. And I let them know that. What was that? I've gone blank now. Sorry, of charlatans, blah blah blah. Where are we? So talking to them, calling them charlatans. Sorry guys, I've gone completely blank. I found, but what good time to go blank when brother IC3 says, all right, welcome brother IC3. How's it going?
Yeah, good. It's going good. Yeah, I've got some a thought for you. Just listen. I'd like to hear what you what you both think of this, or anybody else. As I was listening to you speaking, and you talk about love for black people, and that term, it's a very popular term, and it tends to have the moral high ground. Love for black people. And earlier on, I was watching some clips from a movie called some of these old black and white movies have a lot of lessons in there. In 1957, it's called Paths to Glory, and it was basically about the French, the French fighting the Germans and so on, and how but the point, let me cut to the chase. The point is that there was a clash between the soldiers. So obviously, paths to glory is paths to power. Well, what is those that were getting moved up the ranks? They had the clash. They were torn between the love for France or the love for the French soldiers. So do you love, the senior management were testing the generals and basically saying, look, you can get an extra star, you can go up rank if you can take this fort, but it may cost you, you're going to lose 20% of the soldiers are going to die doing this, and about another 30% are going to die doing that, and so on. But if you do it, you've got to secure that area. But the price of securing that area will be a certain percentage of your soldiers are definitely going to die. But it's good that they die because they had a good death and they died for France. Yeah. So if you secure the area as the command, you'll be commanded to do, at a cost to the members, soldiers in your regiment, you may lose half your regiment, but the command from higher up is that you secure that area. And if you secure the area, you'll be decorated and you'll make France happy. So in contrast, so how I'm applying it to what you're saying here, love for black people. I was thinking about that and I think to myself, you know what? There's some black people I just can't stand. But what is it? Is it a love for blackness itself? I don't know if you're catching the parallels I'm saying. See, love for France, the big picture, or love for blackness. So love for France versus personal attachment to the soldiers. Love for blackness or the black nation in contrast to personal attachment to this or that individual black person. Do you see the parallels I'm drawing here?
Yeah, definitely. And I think there's definitely supreme logic there in the sense of most black people can't stand many black people, if any, and and you know, because of the history that many of our people have gone through, many will find it very difficult to be in a room with, and some people don't recommend you don't go in a room with many black people, right?
Yeah, Neely Fuller.
Yeah,
Fuller.
yeah. Until like we've dealt with this problem that we're going through,
Yeah.
we might trigger each other's anti-dopamines or whatever. I don't, who knows, right? So,
Will trigger.
Yeah.
So what Neely Fuller says, don't avoid black people at all costs unless it's a positive project. That's it. Constructive. You know, see, only meet up if you've got something constructive to do. Otherwise, don't meet any black people.
Yeah.
Harsh, man. That's like strong.
Yeah.
But it's true, though. He's right.
Yeah.
He's right.
Yeah. But it's like heavy stuff. It's heavy.
Yeah. I mean, you have to see the especially from a media optic standpoint, because slackness and these kinds of things becomes the norm, and mistreating black people is the norm.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, many brothers and sisters have culturalized pain and struggling.
Say that again.
Many brothers and sisters have culturalized pain and struggling.
Yes, that's right. So much
they
need it, enjoyment.
Yeah, as in like this, a solution to that would just be like a fantasy with it, to them. So I understand that. And to answer your question, I think I use the term "I have a love for black men." What means
interesting.
Yeah.
That's the same kind of thing then, what you're saying. You're saying like that French it's a good watch that movie if you can. It's an old black and white movie. Paths to Glory.
All right, now.
And it deals with this very thing that we're talking about.
Yeah. And I think the reason
it's interesting what you're saying there.
Well, the reason why I say love for black, because I love the collective action of black people progressing. You see, I have a love for that, and to die for that is quite honorable in the sense of you died like many of the ancestors have died to try to improve the condition of black people. You see, so I think that's a phrase I might use, as in like, you know, I love that, you know, I love that, you see, because obviously individually, many black people make it very challenging to love them at all. So if you just watch me speak Corner from time to time, you'll probably read that. But you have to have an understanding of why, like it's breaking down like the psychology of many brothers and sisters, and like the fact that a person who steps forward to try to find a solution to the problem could then be deemed the problem. You see,
that's true.
Will be deemed the problem.
Yeah, and this shows you that there is a tremendous rewirement that's gone on in many brothers and sisters' heads, where I mean, all you have to do is, if you look at, I think Umar Johnson was on Channel 1, some channel, and you know, he's there to talk about schools and stuff, and they were dedicated to just undermine the things he was trying to do and take words out of context, and this is something you see, that when someone puts forward, like, I'm going to try to fix black issues, they then become a target. A real target, and and I think it was Frances Cress Welsky, and she was saying, I can't remember the quote really, but she was talking about kids and children, and she was talking about one who came to her and said, I don't want to help black people, and she said, why do you say that? Because I realized that everyone who tries to help black people ends up dead. And she said, but she goes, that's a very clever boy, that is. Like, he put the two and two together, that helping black people equals death. You see? So I think when you go through years and decades of that, then maybe on a psychological level, maybe the reason why people are trying to stop you from helping black people, because maybe they feel that it's synonymous with death. Maybe it is.
It's also as well, Brother Raven, the idea and rectification that you're going to have to take responsibility. And I've noticed that, especially like with my parents when they were doing their organizing stuff, right, is that they always used to tell us, as well as other elders in Birmingham, etc., that you have to have some form of like a script when you are going amongst black people. That's what Neil Fuller Jr. says.
Script.
It's almost as if,
Code.
it's almost as if like and it's a psychological tactic of repetitive words, phrases, narrative that helps your dopamines of black betterment, so to say. So not unsynchronized Africans or non-African people cannot affect you. And it's an amazing strategy that works, that you have to have a script. This is what I'm going to say, because you're around black people.
Your parents were saying that.
This is what a lot of the organizers, and if you look at like a lot of our freedom fighters, for example, Malcolm X, Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Marcus Garvey, Francis Christopher, they've got some form of a script that you cannot break through. Whereas if you had something where it was just freestyling all the time, right, then it can be penetrable. But if you've got some form of a shield, right, which what Neil Fuller Jr. says, that when you're around black people, right, no, Francis Christopher Wilson said you need a plan when you're around them. You need to have a plan, and the plan is a script, because they come at you in different avenues, you know. They come at you all types of things, and if you don't have that scripted shield of controlling your dopamines and making your dopamines immerse into black betterment, then they will swallow you up. So yeah, man, you definitely need a scripted shield, man. I like Brother Raven's one when he comes in. All due respect to the brother, man, like black people are inadequate. It's an amazing thing. It triggers the dope, triggers everything. And it's like, huh? And then when the moment you say something off key, then the brother, he can use his scripted thing, and it's like you can't get out of it. And that's why I love what the ancestors and the freedom fight. It's like you need a scripted dialogue. So if you are going to improvise, you can always return back to the scripted dialogue.
That's right. Get back to base, coded base. That's right. It's like on a map in a battlefield. You must know where your base is. Where the base is like the code. It's the set place. That's the safe zone. You leave from that zone out into the chaos. And if it gets too hot, you go back. Everybody knows where to rally. Right, we're going to try and take new territory. But if things that this is the meeting point.
Yes, that's
go back to the code. Yeah, go back to this location. Set location.
Very important, and also establishing purpose is important as well, in the sense of when I go to public speaking places, I try to paint a picture of black betterment, as in like I become synonymous with the concept. So that way, because some people, what they might tend to do is, if you try to make black people constructive and find solutions, you might find that, why'd you keep changing the topic? We want to talk about flat planet, or we want to talk about loving, the floor, whatever, right? And that's what it's just what happens. So you have to like go, oh yes, but you're aware that I talk about this. So if I'm in the room, this is what. Because that's right. And if you try to make me talk about the floor,
something else,
then I don't come to this particular establishment or institution to talk about the floor.
Exactly.
Solution.
Yeah.
Focus. Yeah. Also, trying to step back and detect when things are going down like a confusion path where maybe black people are arguing, and try to reassemble and try to actually make things, try to find solutions rather than us to find over is the planet flat. Let's talk about if we were like, how could we actually find out if the planet was round or not as a black company? Could we make a spaceship? How do we do that? Try to take whatever they're talking about and put it into a constructive discussion about how to find out if it's and how we
Yeah.
could be the source of that information, right?
That's right.
Always be solution based. And the hardest thing is, unfortunately, some brothers and sisters, they're easily triggered or they want to be triggered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's very challenging, right?
And entertaining as
yeah,
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you've got to kind of have thick skin, and you've got to understand that they will throw insults, and sometimes they want you to bite that bite.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And once you do, that will be the new narrative. It'll be the back and forth insults rather than trying to find solution.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, big up all the brothers and sisters who are trying to be constructive, who stay dedicated. But one thing about implementing, and I know some people they find it hard at first, but I really think it's important, and that is talk about this word, the black elite. And the reason why I say this word, the black elite, is important is because what I'm trying to do is the word elite historically has made people very negative in the sense of what is usually depicted is a person born into something, i.e. wealth or prestige, something that's unattainable for the average person, okay? Something that cannot be attained. So there's now this two, us and them, the elite and us, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say with the black elite, or the new black elite, which is very important, these words, right, is actually there is a way to be within the new black elite, right? And that's having two particular things. One is dedication to black betterment. Now, the reason why we say this is when we talk about the elite, some people say, well, I can never achieve massive wealth or be a king or a queen. But you go, but if you confess in yourself and outwardly that you're going to stay dedicated to helping black people progress, then you're ready on the path to being part of the elite, because that's actually what we need. You see?
That's right.
That's actually what we need. So right now, what we're saying is any black person can be with an elite if they have an effort. But if they don't have an effort, if they're just going to be constantly undermining, trying to mistreat black people, trying to throw off people from doing constructive stuff, and not being a part of any kind of black betterment concept at all in any form, then they are controlling themselves not being the elite, and they're complaining for complaint's sake. So right now, so I'm not saying it's easy to be dedicated to black people, but what I'm saying is it should be more easy than what we're seeing now. So my strategy, the strategy is to use those kind of words to show that actually these things, if you want, and the years of complaining about an elite group of people, like, oh, there's this elite group of people and we can never touch them. Well, you could be part of the elite, because essentially that is what the elite is the hive of operators in a particular field. Now, naturally, whoever's going to be the highest operators in a field have to be the black people who look after black people. Yeah, because if no one else is doing that, it won't get done. So just by definition.
So what? How about this? This? Listen to what you just said there. What if I was to say to you, Steve? What if I was to say to you, the elite are those who are dedicated to the concept of black betterment?
Yes. Yeah. This is. This.
No. Well, watch it. Oh, careful. That's not the same as those who are dedicated to black people.
Of course. Yes. Of course. Yeah.
Big difference.
Big difference. Yeah.
Yeah. Very different. So let's break this up. I think I had a diagram. Or maybe I didn't put it in this one.
Very good. Yeah. There's a big difference. Yeah.
Very big difference, and it's very important because this is what I said when I talk. Like, I help black people through pro bono and indirectly. You see, and what I mean by that is I work with other synchronized black betterers, right? Because it's easier. So if I've got a budget and the budget's to create something that's going to benefit black people, I'm looking towards the synchronized black betterers rather than a black person, because a black person doesn't tell me anything. If anything, it probably tells me what I don't need to know, in the sense of, like, just being black doesn't mean that you're going to be dedicated to black betterment in any form. So I co-sign with Sembra YC3 that black elite is the black bearers. Confess and practice the dedication. And I think we should talk in that way. Whenever we establish people who get very, argy-bargy and are constantly trying to pick holes and be a rebel without a cause, whatever, and try to confuse people, we should draw a line in the sand and say, look, we are trying to form a black elite, right? And the black elite do these things. We're constructive and we're trying to help black people progress because we know if we don't do it, it won't get done. Yeah. And by using these kind of terms, someone will talk themselves out of being constructive because that's what you kind of want. You kind of want someone to actually highlight that actually, because sometimes when people talk, you don't let them control the narrative because if they control the narrative, they'll make bad good and good bad. Yeah.
That's right.
You know what I mean? That like I said, when I used to go Speaker's Corner, I remember there used to be some European guys, and they would always want me to talk about the Nation of Islam, and they've always tried to frame it in a way like, oh, you know, they call Europeans the devil, and this, and aren't they bad? And that's how they wanted to start the conversation. You see?
Yeah.
So you got to be very careful of how people want to frame stuff, and you always want to frame it, and the frame is this, and it's like, you know, we recognize that black people are collectively inadequate. So we already start that. There's a desperate need. We recognize that black people are collectively inadequate. The data shows so. All right. We don't think this is correct. So we're forming a black elite to stay dedicated to fixing it.
To that kind of language.
You see?
But it's good though. What you just said there, frame. You see the words you're using. You got to frame, codify, focus, all that language. So what do you think of this then? I'll take it to another level. Just listen to what you just said there. Whoa, let's take it to the next level. Now, I'm going to say to you that the elite won't be telling people, what did you say? They won't be explaining. There's nothing to explain. They just do it. So what happens? Just the way, just because they're codified, they're focused. There's no if you compromise, if you behave a little bit elite, and you then you try to be but down to earth, and you keep switching from one to the other, you end up weak and feeble. If you're elite, you just say, I am focused on blackness, just like this movie. It's important for you to watch, actually, Path to Glory. I am focused on France. Now, if you get in the way or whatever, you know, I can't. There's no talking.
I agree.
They're not explaining. You just know. You just see that person. You know, they don't have to do any to explain it. You just tell by the way they carry themselves, right? That if you come with any foolishness, you're going to be wiped out because you're getting in the way of France. That's the highest order. Another thing, another one. I was watching another military thing where they're arguing, and this high general caused the king's colors, the king's flag, to be lost to the enemy. So when he's coming back and he's talking, he's high-ranking, he's talking to this other high-ranking person, and this other high-ranking person was telling him off. Then he said, you know, sir, I have, you know, I can't really say it, but he was saying, look, you better watch yourself because I have contacts, friends in the court system. I have friends at so level. I have friends from so level. And then the man that he was having a go at, he turned to him and says, listen, whoever loses the king's colors is no longer a friend of the king. So, and that shut him up. It's finished. I don't know if you catch what I'm saying. So he's saying all your friendship, all the contacts you think you have, all your big. Listen, once you've lost the actual icon of the central value of what we're all about, you lose all your reputation, all your contacts. They're gone. So you better shut your mouth because you lost the colors.
Well, I do believe that the Black Elite, Brother Raven, must be able to demonstrate and explain in depth how to teach the youth how to make their brains survive immersely and to release dopamines for black betterment, because a lot of the time, as I said many times before, racism is based upon psychological tactics that has controlled your dopamines to waver left and right to suit the agenda of non-African people. And we are appreciative to Francis Cress Wilson and Dr. Amos Wilson, the likes of them, because they are black psychiatrists that can decode these things. But at the same time, the youth need to understand that your brain has an obsession of surviving. And while you are, feeding it types of lifestyle for it to circulate, by doing this, whether it's in its best interest or not, it believes in what you're doing is going to survive. So if you can imagine what we've been having now, the heat wave, which has been very, intense, that if you have a drink cold water, it's not so much the water that has releases, your brain's release that survival and it's reward the dopamines to you. So getting the youth to release a rewarding dopamines that whenever they are surviving on black betterment in all situations, whether it's the media, whether it's in the Justice Department, education, economic, whatever it may be. And then when they do hear non-African people of Raven come with the deceptive dopamines, meaning that to sway them away onto their level, they'll be able to codify it due to the black elites teaching them how to understand for the brain to survive, to release the dopamines of black betterment. It's very essential.
Yes. But what's the most effective way then to teach elite behavior? This elite codification, this elite focus, this elite framing. What is the best, most effective way?
I think
How?
there's different phrases and stages, but I think for all brothers and sisters who are dedicated to helping black people, who speak publicly about it, I think whenever you come across black people who are constantly tearing you down and causing conflicts and stuff, draw a line in the sand and go, here's what I'm about, here's what I'm going to do, and here's what you need to do to be around it. Right?
That's right.
It's very important because sometimes it's almost like some black people might be deceived in thinking that, we might be begging black people to do something when that's not the case. No, we're looking for people who are elite kind of people who this concept makes sense. And we understand that anywhere from like 20 to 30%, if we get that number of the masses, then those people behaving in an elite way, a dedicated way, will then become like the status quo. Then it's like it'll be a normal behavior, right? So we let people know that, look, here's what we're doing, and we're doing it for this reason, right? And it's like, I don't think you can highlight anything that's destructive about what we're saying because it's all based in black people progressing. And that's what I said, you draw a line in the sand, because one thing you don't want to do is argue with unsynchronized brothers and sisters. There's no point. Let me give you another example. It's like if you went to a speaker's corner or somewhere, right? Let me give you a perfect example, right? Even better. If I went to speaker's corner and I said, "Yeah, man, this forever. I'm forming a collective that helps black people, right? And this is for everyone, whether you're white, black, Asian, or aliens, whatever. You're welcome, right? The mass people will ignore me. You might get one keep out, why should I help you, whatever it is, and then it'll be quite quiet. But by going there and being very, very saying like, no, this is very exclusive. This is for black members only, right? Then something's triggered, and it's like, oh, now there's something a bit edgy here. Now I want to engage and talk more.
To try and destroy it.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that there's an edge to the conversation now. This edge is now, I'm pushing the edge even further. I'm saying that even though this is exclusive for black people, actually it's for black people who are
aspire to be elite.
Yeah, who aspire to be elite and who want to learn a skill that is beneficial for black people. So, so that way it's almost like it's something that you have to acquire to be in it, rather than come one, come all. It's kind of like, it's almost this kind of like, rather than walking down the street and giving out a free example of your drink, You have people that you have to demonstrate that they're worthy of it. You see?
Because one of the,
So
the good thing as
go
well,
on.
Brother Raven, one of the good thing as well, when you set that that dynamic is that it triggers the dopamines in the non-African
Yeah.
who want to keep their brain to survive, to sabotage the movement, which is also
Yeah.
very helpful because you can filter which one of them is the main. Well, all of them are main threat, and all of them practice unethical code of conduct. That's a fact. But at the same time, you can still filter and see, okay, that one has immense high potential of dopamines that can trigger that type of African descendant. So if I can steer him away and make him focus or her focus on something else, then I can, you know what I mean? So it's definitely helps. In other words, you can trigger a positive to bring a negative for a great, succession in bringing out people. It's very effective, man.
Very. And also the thing with brothers and sisters when we come together, you never know when a non-black person or a black person is going to become completely uncontrollable and cause confusion. So that's why, as a codified behavior, we should treat all confusion behaviors as case studies.
That's
and remain
right.
very calm
Yeah.
and listen to ask questions and to the people watching, like, observe. I'm going to ask this question now. Let's see what the answer is going to come.
Yes.
So
You're
don't
ready for them.
Yeah, you never get drawn into like a back and
That's
forth
right.
and then and stop, all that kind of stuff, right?
That's right. Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
true political science, man.
Yeah.
True
Yeah.
political- That's right. Yeah.
You see, try and remain calm and go. This is actually very helpful, like, because it's like this, and then you'll use things like, I say that when black people come together, non-black people try to disrupt it, and is this what's been happening now? Let's observe. Let's ask questions, and then you change it into like a kind of a viewing channel where people are observing. It's almost like this person is now one of the videos we play on the channel.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Right. There's an example.
There's an example.
Yeah, actually, that's true. That's what they do with military and police training videos.
That's
They keep
right.
showing. That's what they do. That's what they do. They keep showing scenarios. This is what this is a mugger. This person here is a terrorist. This is what and this is how you handle the situation in this environment.
And our black psychiatrists have broken it down. This is why I always promote political science. I always say it all the time, because there's a reason why. Understanding the knowledge of a state and its political activity and behavior and all things is very important, because the fact that you can dialogue with someone and you can immerse your brain capacity to multitask, that while they're appearing to listen, they're also distracting other people, and you can see how
that's right.
At the same time, use a strategy to keep them in line, keep you checked, and also keep them far away. It's very important, man. Political science, very, very important.
Yeah, this is good. Well, maybe what we might do next week is maybe we'll give examples of how, maybe we should actually give scenarios.
That's right.
Scriptures, like, in this situation, here's how we would handle it. Yeah. Maybe I can plot some out in a diagram or something, like it could be digital scenario, like if you're talking and someone jumps in, or it could be if you're in public and someone does this, or
Yes, you're teaching codification.
Yes,
that's right.
And you're teaching this in similar scenario. You do code 625. That's what they do. Sometimes when you're working for security services, or even security services, even within a shop or so on. If there's certain trouble, they shout out certain codes, but only the staff know.
Yeah.
So not to panic the shoppers, not to panic the public. They just shout out certain codes, and then people know that the staff know what to do.
Yeah,
they know the appropriate behavior.
Very, very good point. Having codes is that.
Go on.
No, you go ahead.
Yeah, but because just listening to this conversation, thinking over what you've both been saying, it's true that that's how it's done. That because I used to I was working at Selfridges, and most places I've worked at, the staff, the staff always have a language that the public don't know.
That's right. Yeah.
Hospitals, military.
Yeah.
That's the codification. So they are the elite, really, because they're the elite in the situation. Because Brother Neely Fuller says that if there's 10 people in a room, the one who knows, and the fire starts, 10 people in a room and the fire starts, the person who knows how to get out becomes the leader straight away, because everybody else is in confusion.
That's right. Yeah. And this is another thing as well. Why I always mention political science is that you can be amongst people, whether you're in a channel or whether you're in person, and you automatically know who affects the rest just by the mannerism, the behavior.
Yes.
You can but you have to, as what Brother Raven says, and that, which I want the youth to understand, is you have to be very stoic, nonchalant, and very focused with a relaxed, cool demeanor. Because if you don't have that, you will not be able to assess the situation. It's almost as if it's a code to you if you don't have this type of code as it pertains to your mannerism and your face expression. Because some people can behave a certain way, but if you can unravel that code, then you can codify and recode everybody else, and everyone's thinking like you. That's why I like Brother Raven's just to go back to what he was saying, codifying the dopamine. I think one of the best things that he's done when it comes to religion, gender, and I think the other one is it sexual or is it topics on sexuality, Brother Raven, in your group?
It's religion, miscegenation, and
that's it. And what I've noticed that whenever you're around non-African people or unsynchronized Africans, is that they both use this strategy to distract away from the Black Betterment cause. They will say, well, okay, but you're not from that tribe. And then everyone starts the dopamines. That's true.
Yes,
my tribe is this, my tribe is that.
Identity dopamines.
Yeah, and then the non-African is just got in, and the non-African says to himself, yes, I've controlled the situation. But wait a minute, we're not fighting for Black people. Remember, all women got oppressed, and then bam, the dopamines is on the gender. So I think that foundation, what you got there, Brother Raven, on top of and also your tribe, and that is a great foundation for you to codify when an unsynchronized African as well as a non-African used these types of rhetoric to destabilize the collective.
I think asking questions is always important, and I think one thing that could be, whenever there's confusion amongst two Black people in a group, you can always ask, well, brother, I'm slightly confused. What could we Black people do to get a better situation? So you then ask a person who, so usually you'll come with an idea like Black people working together to make a bank or a boat or whatever, right? And then naturally they're gonna take it somewhere else. And then an argument, they'll make fun of your shoes and your legs and this kind of stuff.
That's it, some stupidness.
And then you say, hold on, brother. Can you give me your idea of how Black people can work together to make this bank, to fix this shoe, whatever it might be? So you then ask them to actually think of something. So rather than, because right now, anything you say, if you say let's have a charity, if you say let's run a race, they'll just shoot it down. So you then put on them like, how about you come with something? And then best case scenario, they give you a good answer. Worst case scenario, which works in your favor, is they'll just they'll give it an answer which is like, oh well, I'm not going to answer that, or I don't believe anything like that. You clearly see them shut down as in like, I don't believe
they got nothing to contribute.
And then and they go, well, until brother you're ready to contribute, let me just say this: and if you got a better idea, push it forward. But until then, let's just try to help Black people, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think of this idea? You see, you see, you laugh, innit? Yeah. You see the power.
Yeah.
You see the power. So even so even while you're not talking, right? People know what you're, what you're about. So then
Yeah.
when you're having a conversation with other brothers and sisters, the flag is there. You see, the standard is there. So you know what the subject is. You know what the topic is. You know what this conversation is about.
Mm.
Every time you see that.
I just like to say as well, IC3, it would be good if you could do a YouTube channel, because your IC3 of identifying is very, very important. A lot of us, whether it's the youngsters or the elders, do not understand the code of the IC3, the law of the land, and what it, they just don't understand it. And the fact that
Yes.
you're promoting that, elder, I give you the most maximum respect that you're revealing this code that our youth don't seem to understand when they're
Mm.
walking in the system says, oh, there's an IC3 there. You need to do more of this, elder, to help with the understanding the rights, like, okay, you need to know the
Yeah.
1968 law of this and that, because
Mm.
you're onto something, man. That is black betterment, what you're doing, and it'd be good if you could do more
Well,
YouTube channels on that.
well, I think, yeah. Well, what I think, going forward,
Mm.
what will happen is that, as we're having these talks, you know,
Mm.
time after time, each of us are doing our own thing in our own way, but
That's right.
what it is, they all merge. You see, because
Yeah.
I'm flying the flag. You see, look, that's why
Yeah.
Brother Ray had to laugh, you see, because he wasn't expecting
Yeah.
that, was you? You see, you can see the power of it. You see, no talking and no explanation. You just see it. Boom.
Mm.
So perhaps we will think of, because even the way you talk, Brother Kel, perhaps we can merge together on a project.
Yeah,
What the
of course.
project
Yeah.
will be, it will
Mm.
be a combination of the work that we've been doing, because we're fusing together this, we're shaping this elite, we're shaping
Yeah.
it, and then
Yeah.
it's shaping us
Mm.
as we're talking and discussing these things.
Well,
Yeah.
It's shaping.
we're on the 98th show, so in 2 shows more, we're going to be in 100. Maybe we should try to get certain prominent speakers to come back on that show, just
That's
for
right.
us to because what I've noticed is, like, in Speakers Corner and on the digital space of just talking in general, when you walk into a space, you find out who you can synchronize with more, in the sense of who's more about what you're about and who's just
That's right.
and
Mhm.
establishing black people who want to help black people.
Yeah.
It might be a good thing. So that way we can say, well, brothers and sisters, we're all on one chord. So if you need help in talking or pushing the message forward, let me know. So we might be able to form something like, the committee of Black Batman, whatever it might be, right? Just so we know that these people here are dedicated to practicing Black Batman, right?
Yeah.
These particular group, like, and like I said, because one thing also, that's why I like to get things down to a code of writing and rules, in the sense of, like, if you go to some of the people you disagree with and you go, okay, let's just, rather than arguing about ideas, whatever, let's say this: do you agree with black people helping black people on black issues, right? And if they say no, then already it's done.
That's right.
Done.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no point going any further. And establishing that, because usually what they try to do is they'll then try to model that. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean helping? What does helping mean? Who are black people? All this kind of stuff. They go in circles, isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
So, and that's why every answer they have, I have a codified response for it. That's in the booklet, whatever. But yeah, I think establishing the people who see value in these concepts, right? Because the idea is we're making this idea, this lifestyle, marketable. It's making it trendy, cool, the thing to do.
That's right.
The idea is, if you don't do this, you feel away. You feel away.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. But yeah, make it trendy. Well, just like you said already, that elite, just using that word, See, if you, because you know Speaker School, you go down Speaker School and talk about black elite, they will set themselves to try and destroy it. Just to say, what, you dare? You what?
they
You
trigger
black people are
themselves.
nothing.
Yeah.
You black people are nothing. What elite? What?
And that's why you know, I like this show, because it's based upon political science, everything
Yeah,
about it, and the
yeah,
youth need to be politically educated. They don't have
yeah,
to react when they hear the N word or things that have no relevance, but they can codify it when they're in institutions where they don't have the power yet, and they could develop, whether in university, and they can codify it and then grab that information, grab that, and then build up, you know, the African continent, or build up in the UK in order to migrate to the, you know, the Caribbean or the African continent. But just
yeah,
being politically educated,
yeah.
scientific, like what Neela Fuller and Dr. Francis Chris Wilson and, you know, and the rest of them had broken it down, man. Like codifying everything is very important, man. You know what I mean?
Very true. Very true. So
Yes,
maybe
something's emerging. Something is emerging. Even that's just the way we're, you know, we're bouncing off each other. Yeah, something is emerging. Don't worry, it's coming.
maybe 99 and 2000. Maybe next week it's. I just put it out there that we're trying to find people who agree with these concepts, right? For them to come and talk, so we can have a unified kind of like position. So at least in the digital space, we know that we kind of got each other's back when it comes to promoting how the family can get together, the black people can get together, and actually do something constructive for a better tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
And essentially, like I said, what I try to make very clear is, I for black people I do pro bono. So a black person I will help. I'm like, if they need a job or they need, you know, for me to read their CV or to, you know, help them find something that's beneficial to them, that's pro bono. I can do that. But when it comes to actually building, as in sitting down and forming institutions, I only work with black bearers. You see,
Right, makes
so
sense. Yeah.
and that's I would recommend people say it like, yeah, you know, if I have time, I'm going to help all black people. But there's a priority, and the priority is to work with the elite to form institutions that are dedicated to black, because you know we don't have the time and resource to help every single black person in the world. So we have to help those who can actually form methods and ideas that help the masses at a quicker rate. You see?
But watch this. What do you think of this? You just said you won't be able to help every black person in the world, but I'm saying no, it's the opposite. When you focus on black betterment,
Yes.
right? It's you're moving into the ether. You're moving into you don't know where it can go. It's everywhere at the same time. It just spreads. If you're focusing on people, when you think, oh, I only spoke to 10 people this week, or I only spoke to 20 people last week. No. When you're just focusing on the concept of black betterment, right? That spirit can be carried. It gets carried by everybody. So even your enemies carry it. And so it's like a blessing. It's like, do you understand what I'm saying? Because sometimes when people are speaking against you, if they're ineffective in the way that they're speaking against you, it actually promotes you. Because you know when they say all publicity is...
All bad publicity is good publicity. Yeah, you're right. Most definitely. Yeah, I've said that before. Yeah, you're right.
So you just got to get the message right, and then it's just power. It just goes out there. If you go against it, it will crush you. It just dissolves.
Also, as well, Brother Raven, and where there's political science, we have to also understand military science. A lot of our youth, Brother Raven, they need to understand how to basically go into martial arts, you know, whatever style it may be. The fact of knowing and understanding military science in regards to protecting yourself is very important. A lot of our youth, Brother Raven, and as you know very well, they're facing knife attacks by one another. Also, the system, unfortunately, is choking them in the police suite, etc. So, advocating for us to understand self-defense, right, is very, very important. Now, what I'm about to say is very controversial, but also there's a lot of institutions. For example, me when I was younger, I'm not afraid to say this. I, grew up on the airsoft, and that's like when you go into like basically knowing how to operate weapons, if that
Yeah.
makes any sense.
Airsoft guns.
Um,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
airsoft guns and etc. There are a lot of gun ranges in the UK where you can be licensed to. It's very controversial, but at the same time, understanding the way how to operate a weapon so you
Yeah.
can use it to defend your people, not to
Yeah.
go out and harm, whether it be a sword or a gun or whether it be unarmed combat. We as Pan-Africanists believe in that. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, if you look at the Nation of Islam, they all practice
Yeah.
military science. A lot of the
That's right.
Pan-Africanists do. And I hope that Brother Raven in his Black Betterment would promote the youth or our people, our women, knowing how to understand martial arts, knowing how to operate weapons, knowing how to operate whatever it may be, just in case if something was to, kick off, if that makes any sense.
Perfect sense. We might even cover in one show the necessity of self-defense, and I think it's also when it comes to like kind of like codification. How
Yeah.
like, unfortunately there's many youth who for whatever reason they find themselves at so one thing they might find themselves attached to maybe an area, a postcode, a collective group, and they find themselves fighting other areas, other postcodes, other collective groups, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And the idea is, how do we take them and their need to do that and
Mhm.
why don't you fight to defend the old woman and the old man who's been abused, fight to defend black people from tyranny, and you take that longing, that kind of adrenaline and energy they have, and you repurpose it for something constructive.
That's
So,
right.
yeah. So you let them know that right now they're dying for nothing, but they can,
Yes.
if they wish to die for something. You see,
That's
Yes.
right, yeah.
Yes.
and this kind of branding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
That's
Brother
right.
Raven, they are going to be, and I don't want to reveal too much. We do need security guards for our neighborhood, if that makes any sense. And I'll say no more, but we definitely need security guards for our neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Bigger family. So, families listening, today's episode has been about. Let's go through it. Sorry, what is racial showcasing and what is the black poverty line? We discovered that unfortunately in the UK, we discovered that apparently more than half the UK black children grow up in poverty. Data shows nearly half of BAME, which is Black and Asian minorities, something like that, you are living in poverty. Black household face being hit harder by the cost of living crisis, as most has less than 151,500. That's what we're there. And we also were talking about what is a deceptive dopamine dialogue. When non-black people try to direct black people with deception to not work in black people's best interest, but they make it feel good. What they say makes it feel good, and this is through years of programming. So we've untackled that. If there's any questions, feel free to jump in. We've also talked about the black elite that as a vocal strategy to realize that when you're talking to black people, you're trying to get people to take responsibility for betterment. Let them know that there is a black elite that you're forming, and with it, one of the rules is people who are dedicated to black betterment, and two, to learn a useful skill and use it to help black people. So you go ahead, bro.
I'll be honest with you, Brother Raven. If there needs to be a sit down and a strategy of helping the African family in the UK. It could be a global thing, but UK first, where each household can put down £10, whether they are signing on or not, right? And this £10 has to go on to helping with the poverty. I said this before, we're not in a position like our ancestors before where they had to go in certain institutions and they had to lend certain types of funding due to the lack of power. We're in a position where we have money now. right? So if we could have a strategy on that, Brother Raven, £5 or £10, whether you're signing on or not, and this can go on to the helping with the poverty, because there is a lot of stuff going on. I was just reading what you were saying, and it can be sorted out and dealt with without even the government getting involved, you know. But there needs to be a custodian to advocate that. What strategies do you put forward?
I think.
Go ahead, brother. Azifra.
Yeah. So what you're saying is true, but is easy when you have the elite. But you have to establish the elite first, because money is what makes people start losing their head. If you have disorder, if you don't have a strong structure, as soon as money gets involved, it crumbles. So
Yeah, I hear that. That's very true. You mentioned this before, brother, and I can co-sign that in the sense of trust. Building a trust is the most important when it comes to finance. Building a trust of this is what the money's for, and here's where it's going, and here's in charge of this kind of area or whatever.
Yeah.
This is something, and one thing I would say to all people out there who do any kind of fundraising or get collective initiatives, your name is important. Your name is very important, and how you interact with Black people and be consistent with it is important. There is no room for error when it comes to finance.
No room.
No room. If you make one mistake, they'll judge you for 700 years.
That's right.
I'm letting you know. So, if your intention is to scam people, you're definitely in the wrong field. But yeah, no, I hear that. And we'll definitely co-sign what Kel says. This isn't anything where we're asking the government to do anything really. But one thing I would say is, at some point, I do want to get a mass of Black people with plethora of skills in some kind of room or digital space, like a consistent place, like every once a month. Black people go to one place, like the solution. I'll think of a branding name, like the solution
room.
Something like that.
Yeah. But don't worry about that. That's easy. That comes automatically. Yeah. People will be drawn to a center, to the focus you're talking about, to the when they see the frame, when they look at a frame and they can start seeing that. Wait a minute, that frame is strong. It's clear. It's codified.
I think. You know, I think maybe a good platform in the meantime, from a digital standpoint, if it isn't in the physical realm, might be something like Clubhouse. Because with Clubhouse, everyone
I've heard about it, but I don't know. I've never been on it.
If it's an app on both now Android and Apple, whatever, and it's basically an app where you might like it. You should go on it. I just test. It's basically an app where
lots of people being invited me. They say, "No, you should come on Clubhouse because all the old crews there, the speakers corner, everybody's there." And I'm saying, "Look, I'm on enough into things that I'm on, So yeah, but if it's a specific project,
the reason it's easier to probably get more people into one space, and then whoever's in charge of the room, he or she can delegate who speaks, and it could be anything from 1 to 1,000 people speaking. So that
1,000 people.
Yeah, you can have as many. Yeah, you can as many as you like. But the thing is, obviously, the chair or whatever can kick people off if they go off cold or anything like that. So it might be a good space to test a concept of, like, maybe like this question, like like the solution room, like what do Black people need and how do we do it? And maybe I might set that up. Maybe I might set that up for the 100 show, like try to set up something to speak in. Maybe that might be like a Black Betterment. I have to look up more like a channel, like a Black channel. I can give the link out, and the idea is to get as many skillful people and dedicated people to tune in at certain times to find solutions. So,
but you already have it though. That's what this is, isn't it? I mean, what could Clubhouse do that this can't?
That is true, he's right, Brother Raven.
The reason why I say Clubhouse, and hear me out, is with Clubhouse, the speed of it is greater in the sense of that with this, we're limited to 6 people, maybe 10 at most if we get extension. It's quite fiddly. And it's definitely kind of like video based, while the other one is audio based, and it's something that that is easy to do with your phone, as in like you just turn your phone and it's there. But once again, I'm still reviewing this. This is still it, but the thing is, I don't. Like, what we could do is we could get like 6 really well speakers to come here, and then if we had like more, they'll have to drop out and drop in. While Clubhouse, you can literally have 100 of our greatest anyone in the room talking.
Okay, right.
And that's the advantage, and that's where we won't get the flexibility in this kind of platform, and that's what Clubhouse does really good. It does it really good. Apart from the problem with Clubhouse is, and obviously a lot of the people I see, they don't have my kind of like rule sets, in the sense of like I like to implement rules, and enforce them, and that's important. If you're going to have multiple people speaking, you have to have a rule, like, and even down to language and stuff. But yeah, I'll probably I'll bring it up another time, and I'll try to see whatever. But if you guys are not on it, it might be worth, if you have a phone, to it doesn't take long to install. It's called Clubhouse.
No, I'll get on it if there's a purpose. Like if you say, right, okay, this is the Clubhouse Black Betterment whatever, then I'll join on Clubhouse for that purpose. But most of the people wanting me to get onto Clubhouse is because they just want cracking jokes and having fun. I'm not. No, I'm about business. I'm not looking for fun.
No, that's good.
But I do believe, Brother Raven, if you are going to do that, it should be more focus on the poverty scenario.
Yes.
Because your WhatsApp groups, as well as the Black Betterment YouTube, and that pretty much covers everything else. But to have like something with the poverty thing constantly.
I agree. That's a good point. Like solution based for those things. I think with the whole Clubhouse thing, what it might be beneficial is we can, like, with the WhatsApp stuff, it's very kind of like, if you're in it, you're in it. But with Clubhouse, it can easily spread, because we can put it on a public platform, put a link there, and the link spreads out. People can get on there much more quicker. They can jump in, jump out, and you can control. They can come into a space where you don't know their details. Like with WhatsApp, you might not post the details on phone, this kind of stuff. So it's more privately based, and you get more people in it. But yeah, it can be more solution based, and it's more safe in that sense. That people can be there and nothing is revealed and whatever.
Right.
So, well, it's an experiment. We can see if it works. But good point there, as in like maybe having the poverty economics or something, a solution of that. But we can unpack that. We'll get the branding out and make it work. Family, my time is saying almost up. Yeah. So, family, if there's any last things that Brother Icy, for your Brother Kel, would like to say?
Let's get codified and focus on the idea, on the concept of Black Betterment, rather than love for Black Betterment, rather than love for people. Because if the love for people, you're not going to be able to keep up this.
Ooh. I don't know if you froze.
The concept of love for Black Betterment will look after everybody, those who you don't like and those who you do.
Well done, thank you, brother. And Brother Kel?
Yeah, the Honourable Marcus Garvey says, Africa for the Africans, those who are far away and those who, are near. It has to be a global thing, and the Black Betterment definitely is a blueprint that will lead towards bettering Black people's lives. Keeping Black people in business and all things is Black Betterment, and we must promote that all the way. Brilliant show as always, Brother Raven. As always, people.
Next week, practice Black Betterment. See you guys next week, and have a good one. Thank you very much, family.
And get a big flag like this, Raven, for Speaker's Corner.
Most definitely, man.
Thank you.
Big
very
up,
much.
big up.
Peace.
All right, take care.